that is romanticizing your life, isn't it? I wouldn't say before that suit was I a manifester. I do like to think of like positive mental attraction, all those types of things. I definitely think that they work, but I had never even thought about wanting to host a game show before I possessed that suit.
Welcome to Off the Hanger, the fashion podcast where we delve deep into our guests' wardrobes, finding out their favourite fashion pieces and the stories behind them. This week's guest is Kathryn B Wilson. She's a presenter, a wedding celebrant, and an all-round gorgeous human being. If you enjoy this chat, please remember to like and subscribe, maybe leave us a little comment. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this episode. I hope you enjoy. Kathryn, thank you so much for being a guest on Off the Hanger. It is so lovely for you to share your time with us. I'm really, really excited to dive into your wardrobe. I love your Instagram. You are a presenter and a wedding celebrant, which I find super fascinating. But before we even start, I want to talk to you about your manifesting a job through a pink suit.
Love that you started with this question, because I pulled the pink suit out this morning. It's still fresh in its dry cleaned little bag thing. But yeah, like do you know what? I like to scour the internet for like my outfits a lot of the time, especially places like Vinted and Depop and places like that, because I'm always like, I love if something has a story and it's not just, yeah, I just bought that off, some website brand new. It's got no story. There's no like adding to that really. So I always look for like bright colored. I'm a petite girl myself. So I'm 5'3". So I'm the taller scale of petite. So I look for petite. I was looking for bright suit, petite. And this amazing suit, new with tags, came up, and it was from Warehouse, which I actually don't know if that Warehouse still exists, but you can still certainly buy some of their clothes, but I'm not sure if they still are running as a company. And I was like, made a couple of bids on it, and the girl was like, yep, you can have it, got it sent to me. As soon as I tried it on, I was like, I'm going to wear this first as a game show host. This is the perfect attire. It fits me perfectly. Didn't have to get it tailored or anything really, which is odd for me and my height. And as soon as I put it on, I was like, this is me. Like, I feel like I'm manifesting walking out on stage, seeing a crowd, like an audience full of people, and I'm about to invite 2 contestants on stage with me. And literally a month later, I was booked for a job that was just that, which I can't really quite believe. It sounds like some sort of fraud, but it genuinely happened, and I will be doing it again in the future because it was amazing.
I adore this. It's such a good suit. I love a trouser suit. It's such a bright, vibrant color, and I don't believe that like shopping in that way is not sustainable full time. But I think every now and again, I do the same thing where I will see a piece and I've already imagined the occasion that I'm going to wear that thing to, even though that occasion is not remotely planned in. But I'm like, one day I'm going to wear that to some, big thing or this or that. And then when it happens, you're like, that's amazing. I have a gown in my wardrobe, this incredible dress that I bought at a sample sale. And I was like, one day I'm going to wear that on a red carpet and it's going to be great. I'm going to wear it on a red carpet. And I've had this in my wardrobe for years, like years and years. And then we got invited to the Bridgerton premiere. And I was like, I'm going to wear this dress to the Bridgerton premiere. And I tried it on and it didn't fit anymore.
Oh, no.
I had to take the zip out of the back and put lacings, a corset into the back so that I could fit in the dress. Because I was like, there is no other dress that I'm wearing to Bridgerton. This is the dress. Come hell or high water, I will fit my body into this dress to wear to Bridgerton.
Oh my God. Well, at least you got to wear it.
I did. And it looked great and I loved it. And so, yeah, but I think sometimes there are those pieces that you see and it's like a fortune telling moment. you know where you're going to wear that piece, even though it's,
Mm.
not planned or anything. And I had a lady on the podcast a while ago who bought her wedding shoes before she'd even been on a date with this person. And she just found
Love
these shoes
that.
and she was like, these are my wedding shoes. I just know that I'm going to wear these to get married in. So she bought them and they were quite expensive. And then she saved them and she ended up wearing them for her wedding.
I love that. That is such a that is romanticizing your life, isn't it? Because I wouldn't say before that suit was I a manifester. Like I do like to think of like, positive mental attraction, all those types of things. I definitely think that they work. But I had never even thought about wanting to host a game show before I possessed that suit. I've done a lot of different presenting, but I never thought actually that's a goal of mine. And now I just want it more and more because once I was, that person, I was like, this is a person I want to be forever because it was so much fun.
Oh, I love it. That's so good. And you are very stylish. I look at your Instagram. You've always got a fabulous outfit on. I love that you're a fan of a jumpsuit. But do you have an earliest childhood fashion memory? Were you like this as a child?
I don't so I was an only child, and so I never really got hand-me-downs or things like that. I kind of my mum was very like me. I probably get it from my mum. She was a charity shopper. And I feel like I wore a lot of Disney, little leggings and T-shirts, that kind of vibe. But I have this, and I hope I can find a photo of it so we can add to this. But I had this little black dress that had these puffball sleeves, like shoulders, that were hot pink. And it was very 80s, even though I was born late 80s and this was the 90s because must have been about 5 or 6. But I was at this like fair that was happening in my primary school, and I just walked around that room like I owned it. And I remember feeling like, yeah, and everybody said, "Oh, I love your little dress." And I was like, yeah, I just feel like I can remember that version of me just being like just oozing confidence. And I would say if someone was to ask me, how would you describe your style nowadays? I think I dress like the main character. I like to paint myself as the main character in my own life, as should everybody. Like everybody should be the main character in their own life. But I think that when you dress like that, you feel like that. And that's what it's all about. And fashion to me is how you feel when you wear this piece of clothing. And I think it definitely stems from all the little attention I got as a little child back then.
I think what's really coming across in just even the first two stories that we've spoke about, it's the power of clothes and the huge impact that they're able to have, be that into
Mhm.
manifesting a certain job or feeling super confident or having that main character energy. It's all something that's stemming from the things that you wear.
Mhm. So true.
And what's the oldest thing in your wardrobe?
I really struggled with this one, full transparency, Emma, because I am a bit of I've got better at parting with clothes, because I am a bit addicted to buying clothes. I'm the type of girly that's like, for that next event, I want to have something new. So that means that you have to recycle clothes a little bit faster. I think actually the one thing that I think about, it also adds to a list of some other questions you might have for me, and it's a Burberry coat, and it's a puffer, a black puffer coat, and I've had it maybe 6 years now, and because I only wear it to special occasions and things whenever like a puffer jacket looks good and it's very warm, I've kept it really good. So I'd say it's one of the oldest and also one of my fanciest things that I own. And I will never, it will have holes, and the holes will be fixed and all those things because I love it so much, and it's probably one of the most expensive things I'll probably ever own because it was pricey because it's Burberry.
But I think that's a really good thing to know that actually you've invested in a piece and it does feel fancy every time that you wear it, but also you know you're going to keep investing in that. You're going to keep looking after it. And I think that's such the right attitude to have, rather than this idea of, oh, I'm going to buy this thing and I'm going to wear it until it's like got a hole in and then I'm just going to throw it away. It's like, no, the thing's still great and it's got loads of life left in there. It just needs fixing. It's going back to that
Yeah.
idea of make, do, and mend, which obviously our
Yeah.
parents and our grandparents did, but we along the way seem to have lost.
Yeah, I think it has like feather and down in it. It's all like, padded. And I wouldn't know the first thing about how, to revamp that, but I'm sure if I spoke to someone about that, they could probably do something with it. But to be honest, I'll wear it until it's done anyway, because I do love it so much. And it goes with everything. I could wear it with anything. And it almost like, if someone looks at it, they probably wouldn't know it's Burberry. But it's the fact that I know, so I feel a little bit more fancy when I wear
And
it.
don't we all love to feel a little bit more fancy? I love that. What's the piece in your wardrobe that gets the most compliments?
So it's a pink dress, and I have a great photo of it. It's a pink dress, and it's kind of very similar to actually what I wore as a child. It's got puffball shoulders, but it's sheer, so it's completely sheer all over, and it's hot pink, and it's got these gorgeous gold circle buttons all the way down, so it's shirt dress style. And it goes out at the bottom in like a little bit of a skirt, not too much, but a little bit. And it's got this sheer tie that you can make into a bow. I absolutely love it. I've worn it. I was honored at the House of Lords a couple of years ago, and I wore it for that occasion for the first time. And I have put it on Vinted, but I have taken it off several times because I do not want. I've since worn it at a wedding. I've worn it to a couple of other occasions, and every time I wear it, it feels fabulous. It feels like it fits my body really nicely. The only problem is the material. If I'm wearing fake tan, it does stink. That's the only problem with it. And sometimes things can be beautiful, but like not versatile, not comfortable to wear, which is very frustrating. But I think I'll keep it forever.
A guess, is it Sister Jane?
It's not.
Oh.
It's not. It's Coast.
Oh, okay. Just it was the sound with the buttons and the puff sleeve.
Yeah.
It was
It's
giving,
very Sister Jane
yes, it was
style.
giving Sister Jane vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is really difficult when you have certain fabrics that do retain smell. And obviously, a lot of gym clothes do that. They end up retaining smell, and you're like, hang on, I've just put this on. Why does this now stink?
Yeah.
And it's the same for tan, because obviously tan is such a smell, isn't it? I think once it gets
Mm.
into the fibers of clothes, sometimes it can be quite a challenge to get rid of it. And then you're just constantly aware going, anybody smell biscuits? I can smell biscuits. Like, oh no, it's me.
Weetabix and biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not because I am a pale girly, and I think I feel a bit more fancy when I put on a bit of fake tan. I think, even though it fake tan and clothes do not really align with each other, I definitely feel a little bit more fabulous when I'm sun kissed.
I'm the same. Like, as much as I want to embrace my very pale skin, I also know that my legs are blinding, like blindingly white. And it just looks a little bit nicer. Not if I look tan in compared to a normal person, but I just look the same color as a normal person. I think that's where
Alive, I
alive,
think it is.
alive.
Emma.
That is it.
Alive.
I just want to look like I'm not a sickly Victorian child, which is my standard level. So if I could just look like there's blood flowing through my veins, that would be grand.
I love that. Oh.
Now, is the Burberry coat the most expensive piece in your wardrobe, or is there something else lurking in there?
Do you know what? I had up until a couple of months ago, I've been very good, Emma, actually. I've been very good at like recycling things. Up until maybe a month or two ago, I had a Louis Vuitton handbag.
Ooh, fancy.
A backpack Louis Vuitton, like vintage one that I did get in a charity shop, but I did sell on because I thought it's almost a bit too luxe for me. I am a young independent female, and I spend a lot of time in and out of cities, traveling on my own. And this Louis Vuitton handbag, like it was one of the little backpack ones, the vintage ones. And it was almost too lovely for me to just be wearing on my back, running errands about. So I wasn't using it. And I thought, as much as that is an investment piece, I also would like to sell it so that someone else can use it, because I just kind of felt like a bit frustrated that it was gathering dust and things like that. So at the moment, as it stands, I think probably the Burberry coat is still the something that's the most expensive thing I own. Yeah.
And you said you found the backpack in a charity shop. Do you remember how much it was?
Yes, it was £260, and I think it was missing a button or something like that, and I haggled a little bit, which is questionable in a charity shop. I am aware of that, and I got it for 240.
Incredible work. Amazing
Yeah.
work. Oh, well done. Good job.
Because I did sell it on for much of a profit, but it's that type of thing. I did go ahead and I got the button repaired and things like that, so that did cost me a little bit of money. And I think actually sometimes when it comes to charity shops, you just can ask the question. They might be like, "No, we think this jacket is worth £100, so you have to pay that," and I'll be like, "Fair enough."
Yeah.
If that's the way you think it should be, and then I'm happy to pay it. But I think it's always good, no matter where you are, to just ask, have a little bit of hustle, have a little bit of debate with them, see what they say.
Also, I think it's a big cultural thing. I think it's
Mhm.
something that, like, UK and Ireland, we don't necessarily do. It's not in our culture to kind of haggle and barter with people. We don't go to, like, vintage stores or the market or whatever and barter with people like they do in other countries. And so I
Mm.
think a lot of the times when you have it on like vintage, when people are like sending you offers and bartering with you, it's because that's more in their culture and in their nature. Whereas we're like, no, no, I've said it's this price, therefore it is this price. And we miss out on loads of like getting little extra bargains because we're not willing to kind of go, I'm just going to ask for that a bit cheaper.
I am 100% so much more cheekier. I'm so cheeky on Vinted because I think it's a bit of a faceless app.
Yeah.
Like, as much as, my username is nearly my name, it's like you're a keyboard warrior a little bit, but in the best possible way. Because I will be cheeky, because I think a lot of people on Vinted, they buy things, forget to send them back, so they don't actually remember how much those pair of trousers from Cause actually cost them, and then they put them on for like a tenner, and I'm like, well, do you know what? I'm going to try for 8
Yeah.
there, and then they might just accept it. And I think it really pays on those things, because yes, people think she's a cheeky one, her, but like, nothing's going to happen. It's not the end of the world, and they're probably just glad of the sale.
Well, this is it. You see, I have a balance because I sell quite a lot on Vinted, and so I have a bit of a love-hate thing that I don't mind taking offers. I'm always like, I think taking offers is really good. I put things on knowing that I'm going to take an offer on it. My biggest bugbear is when I have just listed something and then somebody instantly sends me an offer and I'm like, do you not check when this was listed? And I think there's so
No.
many people who don't check when it was listed. So like I'll have put something on and somebody will send me an offer for like 40% off the price I've just listed. And I'm like, are you mad? I'm like, I'm not taking that.
Yeah.
I'm like, ask me again in like 3 weeks' time. And I might be like, yeah, nobody else wants it. So I'll snatch your hand off. But like, it's been up there like all of 12 seconds and you've sent me this offer. What's happening?
Yeah, it's fun. I had I think I bought I bought a new jumpsuit, because you can never have too many jumpsuits, Emma. And it was brand new with tags, a plum colored jumpsuit from Coast, I think. And this was just the other day, and I think she had it on for like 45 or something like that, and I offered her 35, and she declined, and then she offered 40, and then I went to 38 or something like that, and she was like, I'll maybe accept in a few days, and I was like, can you just accept now? And she was like, no, I'll think about it. So then I just bought it for 38, because I was like, like, let's not mess around
For
here.
£2. You're like, I
Yeah,
wonder
do you know what I
then.
mean? Like, I understand that those 2 pounds mean a lot to you, and a lot of people, it's actually not the money, it's just the
Principal.
principle. They're like, yeah, they're like, "I wanted 45 quid for this, so if I wanna get as close to that as possible." And I understand that, but, it's so much fun, isn't it? It's so
Now, what is the most sentimental piece in your wardrobe?
So I have this red dress. It's a Camino style dress. It's kind of like a reddy orangey color. And when I wore it with a pair of purple, like bright purple stiletto heels. And wore it to marry my best friend to her husband.
Oh, how gorgeous.
Yeah, so it's like I have a lot of these style dresses, like Camino kind of cut off at the right part of your arm, just below your shoulder. They tie at the waist, and they kind of like come maybe just below the knee. They cut you in all the best places, so you have that hourglass figure. Um, and I'm a girl who has a big chest, but skinny little legs. So I always like to emphasize, those bits and make sure that they look nice. Which is a weird thing to say, but I'm sure you know what I
I
mean.
do.
Um, make sure they look real nice, especially when you're doing something like that. Because I do weddings, and I think it's important to look stylish, but also modest, not like look at me kind of vibe, because it's the bride and groom's day. It's not, or the bride's day or the groom's day. It's not my day, and I'm very aware of that. As much as I like to add a color pop shoe, I like to look stylish but not make it about me. So that whole outfit in particular, I won't wear again as like together, because that is, I have a photo of me at that wedding, and I'm very proud because I vowed never to marry another one of my friends, as I want to keep that really special, that it's just been that one friend that I've married. So it's very special to me, that outfit.
Oh, that's a gorgeous story. And I think how beautiful. I've spoken previously on here about wedding guest outfits and how it's such an important thing to get a
Mm.
wedding guest outfit right. And it's about that balance of putting the right level of effort in. Not that you're trying to upstage the bride, but so that the bride recognizes that you cared enough about her day that you went to a lot of effort and put an effort in with your outfit. And I think it's such an interesting balance for you that you've got to look like you've put a real effort in because it's somebody's special day, but you have got to toe that line of that not being too much, that it looks like you're trying to upstage anyone. I think it's a really tricky act to do, but I think it sounds like you're pulling it off brilliantly.
Oh, thank you. No, that's so kind of you to say, because it is a fine line that I do have to toe. And I'll speak to my couples, obviously before their wedding. I'll ask them, do you have a theme? What kind of colors would you like me to avoid? What kind of colors would you like me to wear? And a lot of the time they're like, I don't know. They've not thought about it, and that's good. That's also okay. So then I will be like, well, what are your flowers? What are your bridesmaids wearing? So I avoid what the bridesmaids are wearing, but I'll go for something that like maybe goes in line with their colors of their flowers and their backdrop and things like that. And a lot of the time they don't have any themes, so I just bring a couple of options with me in the car and decide when I'm there what I think will look best. And it's always good to have a couple of options as well, because it makes you feel very glamorous, like you're some sort of like movie star. But yeah, I really actually enjoy. I think my favorite thing to plan for is a wedding, to get my outfit together, to, as you say, make my friend or whoever's getting married feel like I've put in a lot of effort, and also to enjoy the day and feel fabulous, because it's I'm taking time away from work. I've booked the day off. I've maybe booked a hotel. You want to look and feel gorgeous to celebrate someone you love's big day. So yeah, it's the way you described it was wonderful, Emma, because it's so true. You should enjoy the day just as much as your friend does.
And I think it's about that kind of celebration. So I think the idea of having a celebrant rather than getting married in a church is that you want to step away from tradition. You want somebody who's going to feel kind of modern and maybe a bit more colourful. I know for me, I would be like, wear something super colourful because,
Mm.
I'm moving away from this idea of it being married in a church and somebody in a very dark coloured outfit. I want it to be a big celebration. And to me, that involves lots of colour.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think more modern weddings are involving that. Like you see bridesmaids now all wearing like different colors of the rainbow. And I think that looks gorgeous, different styles to suit their body type, different different colors of a color, different hues, like different I think they're all beautiful. I saw a picture just a couple of weeks ago actually, and it was all these bridesmaids that were there was maybe like 5 bridesmaids who were all different, like different versions of blue.
Oh,
And I was thinking that is stunning, like because they're all matching, but they're their own versions. And long gone are the days where bridesmaids wore exactly the same dress. I actually do. I was a bridesmaid for one of my friends a couple of years ago, and actually, I still have that bridesmaid's dress. So I'm wondering if that could be in the category of the oldest thing in my wardrobe. But full transparency, it's not actually in my wardrobe. It's under one of my beds in storage because I don't think I can get rid of it. I don't think I can sell it on yet because it's so sentimental. Will I wear it again? Probably not. But it's a beautiful dress. I felt, amazing whenever I wore it because it was such an honor. But yeah, it doesn't really happen as much now that the bridesmaids actually wear the same dress as each other.
what is the piece in your wardrobe you would say most sums you up?
Oh, it's gonna have to be a
I was
jumpsuit,
going to
isn't
say,
it?
is it a jumpsuit?
Yeah, it's actually full transparency for anybody listening that likes the look of my jumpsuits. I have a number of and other stories corduroy jumpsuits, and for some reason they just in the right places, and they wash really well. And they just look and they go with anything. So I have probably the one I would say if I had to pick one would be the pink. It's a light pink. It's kind of like the color of my microphone, like so a very very light pink, kind of lilac-y colored jumpsuit, and it's from And Other Stories. And it's one of those things that like it's low maintenance. You don't really have to steam it, and it goes on and it goes on in the right places, and it's my go-to if I get a last minute job, which does happen sometimes. It's the perfect combination of stylish and also like sophisticated but also professional.
And it's a one and done, which I think is so
Mm,
important when you are in that situation where you're potentially a little bit rushed and you're trying to pick an outfit. A one and done is just the easiest thing to go for. Just pick something
yeah,
that's like done, and then you just grab some shoes that go with, and then, yeah, easy.
exactly. And you can wear it like those jumpsuits you can wear with heels, and it's like a whole new look. Or you can stick a pair of trainers on, and it's so diverse, but like yet it's just one piece. So I like to think I'm like quite a low maintenance girly when it comes to fashion. I like to keep once I found something like the Camino dress, which is from Closet London, or like the jumpsuit from And Other Stories. Those are my like go to when I'm looking for things online. I'll be like, why don't I just get that in another color? Because you can always have, a different color. And I just know it suits my body. It sits nicely. It's modest, professional, sophisticated, and makes me feel good.
Now, people who listen to and watch the podcast know that I am a bit of a fashion disaster. These things happen to me all the time, just random wardrobe malfunctions, not necessarily fashion faux pas, because I always kind of believe in the outfit that I'm wearing in, but I am a bit of a disaster. And so I have a little special off the hanger club where people can share their stories of being a disaster and basically join us, and we all feel better about ourselves. So, do you have a story to share?
Yeah, do you know what? I have a couple, so I had to really narrow this down. But one sticks out in my mind, and my friends, when they listen to this, they'll be like, they'll know what it is before I even say it. But I went to college when I left school. I went to college, and a lot of my college years were there was a lot of alcohol consumed, Emma. Let's say that. And I feel like when I think back to those years in my mind, I kind of feel like it's very hazy. And one day in particular, I had walked to college, which was a good 25-minute walk. But it was also the era of wearing pumps. ballerina pumps
Oh.
everywhere. So everything you wore, it was a skinny jean, it was a skinny trouser, and you wore it with pumps. And I had walked to college, got into college, sat down at my desk, and we'd gone out for like a break halfway through the day. One of my friends said, "You're wearing two different pumps." I was wearing a pink leather pump and a sequin pump. So, like, not only did they not look the same, they were like different, like completely different material. And I got to that stage of the day, so I think I ran to the local, like, Primark or Primark, depending on where you're from, and just bought another pair of pumps, so that they were matching. I've had a couple of, like, wardrobe malfunctions where I've had, like, a button pop a few times like that. It always happens to be whenever it's like I'm doing something for children's TV and it's wildly inappropriate. But I had one time, like a couple of years ago, when I was wearing this like pink dress, and I think I like leaned over and it just went like that. So yeah, that's happened to me quite a few times. I think again, like that goes back to being a big chested girl. So I always keep a safety pin with me. It's just it's a non-negotiable for me now.
It is a wardrobe must have, just having that safety pin. Oh my gosh, I love the pump story. The other day, I think I must have just been in another little planet. I was busy and I was rushing, and I'd got all my stuff together. And then I'd gone outside and I literally opened the car door and I looked down and I had socks and slippers on. I was just like, I'm so glad I noticed this now rather than when I got to where I was going for a job. I was just in my very fluffy slippers, but also with socks on, because I'd obviously thought
Brilliant.
I'm going to put trainers on when I get downstairs, but then I'd just kept these slippers on. And I was like, I'm so pleased I noticed this now rather than when I got there. That would not have gone down well.
Do you know what? People, it's so normal nowadays. Like I see a lot of people like just in their slippers. Like, why would they ever want to take them off? Because it's the most comfortable thing that they possess. So I'm all for that. I actually think, whenever I used to be a DJ actually. Feels like another lifetime ago because I stopped during COVID. And I used to, full transparency, wear high heels into the club and then wear my slippers behind the DJ booth. And there was not a shame in it, Emma. I do not care. It's the only reason that my feet still function. Because if you imagine you're standing in a DJ booth all night long and you're also like banging your foot a lot to the beat, to like beat match and things like that, my heels would have been ruined.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have no shame in wearing like comfy shoes, but I think my slippers with my socks was maybe a step too far. If I'd have actually gone out in them, I think I would have had to have got rid of my socks and then just tried to style it out like it was some sort of fashion choice. But they also very much did not go with the rest of my outfit.
We could make it a thing, Emma. I've every belief in you that you could make that a
Just
trend.
make it convincing. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you not see these on the catwalks this season? Imagine. Oh my gosh. Now, talking of shoes, what are your favorites?
So I currently have a pair of the viral wedding shoe from Zara. So they've got like pearls on the front. They're nude. Got a little bit of a kitten heel. I do have those, and I would say at the moment, because I've actually bought another pair, they're my favorite. Because they go with everything. They go with absolutely everything, and they're not too painful. As much as they start to pinch on the toes a little bit, your little toe. Yeah, I love those. I have a pair of uh pink shoes as well that are like really really high, and full transparency, I can only wear them for photos because they cripple me. They look beautiful and they're velvet and they're stunning, but I hate them because they hate my feet. Okay.
I have a few pairs like that in my collection where I'm like, I love you, but I don't want to wear you. Like, you're so pretty, but by God, I don't want to wear you. You are so painful. And so, yeah, they are
Beautiful.
either reserved to being shoes to take pictures in, or a push dinner shoes if I'm feeling really brave, that I can walk into a
Mm.
restaurant, sit down for a few hours, and then walk back out of the restaurant and then just put my like trainers on in the car again. So yeah, it's a love hate relationship.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the stage now where I'm like, comfort is key in everything. So always bring a pair of slides with me or something like that whenever I'm going to an event, so I can quickly change.
Exactly, exactly. It's so important. Now, is there a dream fashion item that you're lusting after? Something that you could be gifted, irrespective of cost, practicality,
Mm.
availability? What would you have?
So a couple of years ago for an event, a company very kindly landed me a Victoria Beckham
Ooh,
suit.
dreamy.
It was stunning and it fitted me so perfectly. And I still to this day can't believe that this high end designer item like fitted my little petite body. So I think if someone could get me that exact one and send it to me and I could keep it forever, I'd be over the moon because it, I still have photos of me wearing it, so I can send those to you as well. But it was like light blue pinstripe and fitted my body perfectly. The trousers were just like it was like a straight cut, so looked beautiful with heels. And the blazer was perfectly tailored to my, and I'm an oversized person. Like if I have a couple of suit jackets and I will always go for oversized with that. Again, draws less attention to the boob area and makes things look a little bit more cut, but it was perfectly tailored to my size. So if I could find that again, actually the company that I did borrow it from don't exist anymore. So I went on recently because I was like, I'd love to buy that. I wonder how much that would cost. But I think I remember looking it up whenever I was borrowed it, and it was £4,000 or £5,000 for a suit.
Oh, my
Unbelievable.
goodness. You'll have to try. I suppose it depends how many seasons ago it was, but Victoria Beckham does do a very good sample sale. Mm.
Oh, and do you know what I found out recently, Emma? This is what shoe size are you?
So I am 5 or 6, depending on brand.
Okay. Do you know that size 4 and 5 are what all brands give their
Sample.
sample
Their
shoes?
sample shoes, they have a 4 as their main sample, and then they do an 8 as their runway sample. And so
Ah.
when I go to, I've been to quite a few shoe sample sales before, and every now and again they'll have a little mix of other sizes too. So you have
Oh.
to go early for the shoes. Sophia Webster is pretty good. I went to the Sophia Webster one not so long ago, and they had hundreds of size 4s, and then they had a tiny little section at the back that maybe had about 20 pairs of 5s, 6s, and 7s. And I managed to
Oh.
find a pair of 6s that were just absolutely dreamy and immaculate, and they were 50 quid. And I was like, yes, please. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
That is going straight in my
Get in
basket.
my basket. Now, to finish on, is there a piece of fashion advice you would have given to your younger self?
Hmm. I think I definitely I would have like learned quicker that I'm a colorful person. I think I wore a lot of like dark colored clothing because I didn't really know like finding your own style is really difficult. I think as a woman, as a person, and knowing what makes you feel the most confident version of you. So I think I would have said, pick up that colorful thing, do that quicker and see how you feel when you wear something, because I think a lot of the time growing up as an only child, not having siblings to kind of rely on or steal their clothing from, I was kind of very slow to find my own style. And I probably just copied friends, probably waited for friends to kind of give me reassurance that what I was wearing looked good. And I would kind of speak to myself to be like, you're going to dress differently to your friends because you have a different body type, and that's also okay. I probably would have covered up a bit more as well, because I think because I looked really, really young whenever I was first starting going out to nightclubs and things like that. So I would have dressed a little bit more promiscuous, shall we say, a little bit more low cut, high leg kind of vibe. When I know the rule now is you either have your legs out or your boobs out. You don't have the both out because it's not a thing. So I definitely would have hopefully been able to tell my younger self that, you don't gotta do that. You just go along and hopefully, you'll get in with your ID, and you don't have to have everything on display.
Oh, that's very good advice. I think that kind of period when you first start going to nightclubs, I don't think anybody's looking back on that going, oh my God, I was so stylish. I was
I
just
know.
permanently in like polyester dresses. I look back, the amount of like stretchy, weird polyester dresses that I would wear, ooh, horrible. I don't think I'd go anywhere near them now. And just never right for my body shape, never who I was really, always just copying my friends and trying to fit in. And I think, yeah, now I think the older you get, the more self-assured you get about your own style. And I think that's such a good thing. But I also think, where were you when I needed you like 20 years ago?
Wisdom is wasted on the old. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
I used to go to my friends' houses to get dressed and stuff because my parents would never allow me to go out dressed like that. And now I think back, they were only trying to help. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen to your parents because they've got some wisdom on you, and they're not just trying to be mean. They're just telling you that doesn't look great.
Yeah,
It's not that it looks, slutty or anything. It looks
it just looks.
bad. You do not say that. And a lot of the time whenever I was first going out, it was the Christina Aguilera
Oh
era.
wow, very,
When she was,
very low cut trousers.
yeah, low cut
Yes,
top and also a belt for a
yes.
skirt. So not actually a skirt. And I don't know why I ever thought, do you know what, she looks cool, so I'll wear that and I'll look cool.
I do remember having a. It was a belt. It was the tiniest little denim miniskirt, pleated miniskirt you've ever seen. Honestly, it must have been 10 inches in length. It wasn't covering anything. Like, I just, honestly, I may as well have just been out in my pants. God, I'm so glad there's no pictures of that skirt.
I know. Thank goodness that we didn't have phones then, because I would pay good money to see a photo of me. Because full transparency, this was me starting to get into fake tan, but I only tanned my thighs. So I would wear PVC high heel boots that came up just above the knee, tan that little bit of skin up to my belt skirt, and then nothing else. I don't even think I wore makeup. So I just had these little brown thighs and the rest of me was pale. So I would love to see a photo of that and then immediately delete it.
Yeah, we live and learn. We live and learn. Oh, thank you so much for being a guest. I've loved chatting with you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed that chat. If you did, why not recommend Off the Hanger to a friend?